First, your verdict, please, on the first 100 days of Trump. He took office for the second time on the 20th of Jan. And we can have a look now at his most memorable moments.
I was saved by God to make America great again. We will drill, baby, drill. We're flying over a thing called the Gulf of America. For $5 million, this could be used. Canada should honestly become our 51st state.
Trump Gaza, number one. Trump Gaza, shining bright. Golden future, a brand new light.
I'd like to take a nice shower to take care of my beautiful hair.
This is a letter from His Majesty the King.
The answer is yes. I have a very good relationship with President Putin. I think I have a very good relationship with President Zelensky. You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards. My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day. They charge us, we charge them less, so how can anybody be upset? Markets are gonna boom, the stock is gonna boom, the country is gonna boom. I'll be known as the fertilization president, and that's okay. That's not bad.
I was making a note of all that, and it's hard to know where to even start. The shower one was he would announce an executive order to make shower pressure stronger, by the way, in case you were puzzled by that. So over here we've got a Trumpometer, and let me just explain. So if you think he's been absolutely diabolical, it stays on 0. If you think he's been absolutely brilliant, it goes to 100. So it goes 0 to 100. It gets more orange as it goes through. Let's just run the dial now. Angela, you tell me when to stop the needle. 50, 62, 75.
Stop.
Oh.
Gosh.
Whoa! You're on about 87 there. You think you approve of him? We're well into orange.
Yeah, your point?
87. Should we do it with you, Nina?
Yep.
Okay, let's reset the Trumpometer. Here we go. Nina Myskow, ready?
Stop.
Oh. No.
Stop.
Let's reset. We
Stop.
reset. We've got to do it again.
I would put it on 0
Okay,
if I could, but...
she's going to shout stop straight away, guys. Listen up. Go.
Stop. Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, there's a bit of a 10%
I think you were 12. I think you were less than... What were you? 10?
About 10, yeah.
Okay. It's not working very well, I'm afraid.
Well, a bit like Trump,
You
basically.
need Trump in to fix it.
So you're 82
Yeah.
and you're 10.
Yeah.
There we are. That's our Trumpometer. Nick in Devon, come and play it with me. Can you see your TV screen, Nick?
I can indeed, Jeremy.
Right,
yes.
let's get the Trumpometer up. Are you ready?
Well, I suppose so. I don't quite know what I'm doing yet.
Right, well, if you can see your screen, watch carefully and I'll shout the numbers out. We're running it now. 0, shout stop. 10.
Stop! Stop!
Stop! Right.
It's going to make me cough.
You're on 30. Why so low?
Oh, sorry. Am I high? I think he's diabolical, the chap.
Yeah. Well, the needle's it's broken. This thing. It's moving without us. So you think how much out of 100, Nick?
Like him. Nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely appalling. I cannot believe. I mean, his approval ratings is going down the plug hole at the moment. I'm surprised British media is not actually reporting it. I mean, Washington Post put it at 39% disapproval.
Yeah, because I think
weekend.
the tariffs has hit the economy, and then at that point.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's other stuff as well.
But there's a lot of other stuff as well. And I mean, the thing is, he just doesn't do what he says. I mean, he sort of turns around and says, like, finishing the war in a day. And of course, here we are 100 days, still not finished.
What about because I was noting stuff down. Drill, baby, drill, Gulf of America, the Citizens Card for 5 million, showers, paper straws being banned, King invite, Zelensky, tariffs, boom, fertilization. The momentum, the activity is incredible.
Well, yes, but he's had a long time to plan this, unfortunately. And, of course, he's got the people around him now, basically sycophants, and will just do what he says. As simple as that. And
well, let me let Angela reply to this.
Okay. Well, Nick, I appreciate where you are on this. In this country, we have a weather-vane leader who can't even decide how to define a woman until he's put into a corner. We had to go to the highest court in the land to get the legal definition of a woman. What I would say about Trump is, yes, there are regrettable things like the annexation of Greenland, Canada. There's some absolutely bonkers
That wasn't
stuff.
even in our film.
No, it wasn't. But if I may, because I made my own little list, and
Yeah.
I'll be very brief, because basically he's got energy, purpose, action. He's the king deal maker. He's swept in and he says, I'm going to do stuff.
He's a dictator.
I disagree with that point. And that already had me on side, because I want a politician of purpose. But it has to be, the direction of travel has to be in the right way. OK, so he comes in with this flurry of executive orders. He's targeting immigration, energy production, deregulation. He wants to boost home manufacturing. He's stopping Europe leaning on America as the place that will bankroll them when they get into trouble. There's that absolute... the purpose behind him. He's looked at things like that we are diabolical at in this country, protecting free speech on campus, so that Jewish students that belong to different ethnic minorities can walk
throwing
about.
students out of the country.
Can walk about the place without feeling that they're going to be subjected to hate crimes.
You know what do you think of all this list?
Look, if I was a MAGA disciple, because they are disciples, I would give him 100%, because he has delivered unto them at the border really, really reduced rates of numbers of immigrants.
That's a very good point,
Yeah.
and it's not mentioned in this country very much. The numbers have completely crashed of people. Nina's making your point now.
Yes, I didn't get that. I didn't get that.
The people crossing from Mexico.
It's on my list.
Yeah.
It's on my list.
But then, having said that, that's what he's delivered. He has pretty much done a Liz Truss on the economy, which has reverberated around the world. It has not gone the way he thought it had gone, because the markets were completely spooked. So that's all in turmoil. And the thing is, the man comes not from a position of principle, of wanting to make life better for his subjects. He comes from a position of revenge. He comes from narcissism.
Well, listen, you haven't mentioned the thing that happened 2 days ago, which I think was amazing. They handcuffed a judge.
Yep.
Did you see that?
Yep.
They arrested a judge. There was some FBI thing. The judge had a migrant in her court. She was told that the immigration people were on the way to collect him, and she said, you can go out the side door. And she was then arrested and handcuffed. And a lot of kind of Americans on the left are saying this is now the next stage.
This and the taking, just the kidnapping of people off the streets and deporting them without due process.
People have voted for it.
Well, did they vote specifically for that? Did they?
Let's try before we move on. I want to see if our meter works. We've oiled it. So Nina, this is you've got to shout as soon as it starts to move. Nina, are you ready? Here we go. Just say stop. Go.
Stop.
20, well, it's 20.
I was a bit slow.
12,
I was a bit
not
slow.
bad.
I was a
not
bit slow.
bad.
I was a bit
so
slow.
we've got it working. We want to see how you score Trump on our special Trump orange meter. Now, more of your calls on Trump's first 100 days as president. What's your verdict? 020-7862-2222. Give us a call. We have now, let's see, we've got our meter there. Laura in Norwich, are you ready for this?
Yes, I am.
Can you see your television, Laura?
I can.
Right, can you see the Trump orange meter?
Yes.
I'm going to shout start, and when you think it's got to the right number, shout stop. Here we go. Start the meter.
Stop.
Oh, you're on about 25 there.
Yeah.
You don't approve. You don't approve.
I think he's a pompous. He's done a lot of damage, and the things he's done, well, I do not agree with.
To quote Basil Fawlty, apart from that, everything okay? You obviously, yeah.
I wish he wasn't. Well, kick him out. We had a president that done a lot of good before up there, and I think kick him out and keep him out and never lie him back in again.
Okay. I love it. Thank you, Laura. Brilliant. Thank you so much. Do you ever see This Country? It was the mum in This Country. Michael in Dover, hi.
Hello.
Right, you've got to react quickly if you want to score him low. I'm going to go 3, 2, 1. I'm going to start. Hang on, Michael. Hang on.
Stop now.
What? Stop now.
The machine is defective.
It's on 0.
Trump.
You don't like him?
You could say that.
Well, all right. We had a whole list from Laura there. Give me yours.
But basically, he's destabilised the world in a way that we've not seen since the Second World War with Hitler. Between Trump and Putin, they're out to rape the assets of Ukraine. There's no mention of the 23,000 children that we believe have been kidnapped from Ukraine.
Yeah.
And Trump is just perpetuating the war. Had he come in with a strong arm and supported Ukraine in the way that the West had been, I'm sure Putin would have been forced to retreat.
I don't know. There
forward.
you might find an argument, because if he puts American weapons into Ukraine, the war lasts longer. If he persuades Ukraine to surrender 20% of its land, the war ends. That's what's going on in his mind. That's all.
It's going around in his tiny mind, but he hasn't succeeded, has he? He's
Okay, Michael.
failed.
Thank you, Michael. Thanks so much. Got to crack on with our orange meter. 0 from Michael. Rodney in West Yorkshire, hello.
Hello.
I'm going to start it, and get ready to say stop, because some people are not going early enough. So 3, 2, 1. Start the meter.
Stop. Oh,
Whoa.
I went before.
You're that's all right. You're on 10 or 12 there, I think. 12, Rodney. Low score again.
Yes, definitely. It's atrocious. Really is.
Well, we've had a whole list from the last 2 callers. You don't have to say it again. What about his manner, though? Don't you like his manner? He's kind of like...
No, I'm sorry, I don't. I don't like anything about him. Right at the very start, before he got elected the first time, I did praise him a bit. You know, people used to be arguing. I did say I wish some of our politicians would speak like he does and stand up for their own country. But then since then, especially this time, I've certainly changed my mind because he's gone too far. He says silly things, unbelievably silly things. I don't think there's anything he's done that he said he was going to do that he's actually done.
What about banning paper straws?
Yeah, I mean, there's a war going on over there.
Well, I know.
The whole world's going to pot, and he's on about paper straws.
All right, Rodney, thank you. I think the thing is that he could be very popular in the USA and very unpopular in the rest of the world. So this doesn't mean that he can't get re-elected if he wanted to be.
Well, for a third term.
America spoke.
Trying.
America spoke. It was a democratically held election. And for some reason, whether you can understand it or not, he was speaking to that demographic that said, we want a better kind of life in America. We're fed up of sponsoring far-flung wars. We're fed up of massive illegal, crossing.
Bailing out the Europeans.
All of those kind of things. We're going to discuss in the papers about, we're doing a story about the sex offenders, getting visas to this country and people that commit violent crime. There's a lot of things. Yes, he is in extremis, and that's the problem with him. He is volatile. I disagree with your caller about the fact that he wants to perpetuate the war. He lives for the deal. He wants resolution. He wants to be the guy that says, I put an end to the war in Gaza, end in Ukraine. He wants to be that man.
But the Middle East video, the Trump Gaza.
That makes me feel absolutely
sick.
And
it wasn't a joke, that, because, OK, the video was made by someone else. He put it out from his account, and he then said, we're going to turn it into the Riviera of the Middle East.
This makes me feel physically sick, actually, because there are thousands of people dying, and, although he pays lip service to people being killed in the war, that is not his prime motivation. He wants the Nobel Peace Prize. That's why he's...
But they're not going to give it to him. This is a moment where he announces the death of the Pope with the Easter Bunny next to him.
I mean, he was completely... the fact is that at the Pope's funeral, it was marvellous to see him with Zelensky, and hopefully that will move things forward. But then he was stealing headlines from the Pope, and that will have meant more to him than almost anything.
What about this relationship, Angela? You can't support this relationship with Musk, can you?
No, I think, look, Musk is definitely a wild card. He's not a democratically elected politician. He doesn't have the CV that supports the role that he has. You can admire in principle this idea of deflating the size of the state and getting rid of massive administrative cost and bloated bureaucracy. But to come back to this issue of being the peacemaker, you can do the right thing for the wrong reasons. We can't escape the fact that the day after Trump came back to the White House, hostages who had been languishing in the hell of Gaza for 15 months or however long it had been started to be released. That he's now talking about a peace deal in Ukraine when there had been this stagnating effect over that war. Both of those wars have been going on for an extraordinary long time, and innocent people on both sides are being killed every day.
But what is it that Tacitus, the Roman writer, said? They make a desert and call it peace.
Yes.
And that's always the worry with these things.
And Gaza has been made a wonderful building site.
Yeah, but whose fault? If Hamas hadn't launched their heinous attack on October 7th, they were elected in 2007.
Well, that would for it to be Hamas's fault, they would have to have blown those buildings up themselves.
No,
surely.
but hang on. When Hamas were democratically elected in 2007, the Gaza Strip geographically is in the most beautiful location in the sense that it's a long strip of coastline. And when it was handed back, the idea was it can be the Singapore of the Middle East. And what happened when the final Israeli settlements were pulled out? What did the Palestinians do? They blew up the orchards. They blew up all the infrastructure that was left behind. And that's political. That's political, and it's a shame.
Okay,
I don't want to get into discussion.
Let's move on. No, we've veered. Thank you for all your calls on this. Later we'll be...